Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good day to everyone. Good day, good day. Yes, you are at the right place. This is STEM Digital School, and we are here for grade 9 English Home Language on the 1st of July 2020. I will be your teacher. I will be your presenter for the lesson. Jikumyong, that's my name down there. And today we will be doing reading comprehension. Yes, so it's reading comprehension one, because later on in other lessons, you will do other types of reading comprehension. Okay. All right. So can I see who is here with me? Who is here with us? Please say hi to us in the chat so we can see who is here with us. I see a couple of greetings in the chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It is so great. It's so amazing that I'm not here alone. I mean, I'm here for you. So you really are the reason why I'm here. And if you're not here, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, without a waste of time, let's get on with the lesson. I did say we are doing reading comprehension. So this lesson will be about the reading and viewing for comprehension, and our focus would be on a newspaper article. Okay. It is good that you as a person you can read. I mean, reading is a skill. Reading is a good skill. It is an excellent skill, a very important skill to have. I might add. I mean, imagine if you couldn't read. If you couldn't read, you really couldn't go to your social media to comment on your favorite celebrity status and all those things. So yeah. So anyway, that is what we will be doing today, reading for comprehension, because to be able to read by itself is not enough. You should also be able to read and understand what it is that which you are reading. All right, okay. So let us continue. So yes, like I've said, reading is a skill, and doing more of it will improve it, right? I mean, it's like anything that which you're good at. I know some of you can type on your smartphones without looking at the keyboard. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can look at somebody else and type and type and type and type and type, and you realize that you've typed so well, you typed correctly, you typed accurately. Why? Because that is something that which you've been doing all this time. You have been doing it so often that now it is almost like it is second nature to you. It comes natural to you. Okay, so that really is the thing which reading and every other skill. Okay, remember, if you have questions about what we will be doing, please remember to use the chat. The chat is open for you to ask your questions, and I promise you that as soon as I see your question pop up in the chat, I will address it. I will get back to you in the lesson. Okay, are we all together, guys? Are we all together? All right. Let's see what we have in the chat. All right, okay. Seems like people want to read. Here they are. They are asking if we are reading today. Today I really didn't. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. We could read if time will allow us. Wow, I didn't know that you guys really love reading. Eh? Remember the statement that practice makes perfect, right? Whatever it is that we should do, the more you do it, the more you become better at it. Okay, whether it is walking, is singing, is writing, but in our case, it will be reading. Okay, so we are going to read today, guys. okay, today we are going to learn about reading for comprehension. Like I've already said, it is not enough to be able to read, because after reading, you should really come to a place where you understand what it is that which you are reading. Okay, because if you do not understand what you are reading, then it's almost like it doesn't really it's almost like it is not enough. You need to read and be able to understand what you read. You need to read and be able to comprehend what you read. Okay, so yes, that is the thing about it. So anyway, let's continue. I see so many of you in the chat. I will get, since you're asking things that which are not relevant to the question, to the lesson of the day, I will just answer you right on the chat. All right, okay. All right. Remember, if you have questions, especially relating to the lesson of the day, please ask and I'll answer you. Right. So there is an interesting quote there about reading. It says that I quote, reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. Okay, and that quote was by Jim Rohn. I don't know if you know him, but Jim Rohn is this American man. He is a motivational speaker. So many people really do follow him. He's very famous. If you are one of those people who are into motivational quotes, into writings, I'm sure you have really met this name before. You have seen it before. So yes, that is Jim Rohn, guys. So you can really see that if someone like him who has so much following can say something like this, then it really means that this is something very important. This is something that which we can really take to heart. That, I mean, we are all ordinary people. Okay, we are all ordinary people, but then if you want to be extraordinary, one thing to help you to become an extraordinary individual is to read. Okay, I mean, especially now in our digital age, there is a book almost on anything. Yeah, I can really assure you that there is a book about anything right now. If you are shy, you want to be more confident, I'm sure there is a book about that. If you want to learn about how to debate, there is a book about that. If you want, there is also a book that really teaches you how to read. I know that sounds counterproductive, but yeah, a book that which you need to read and it teaches you to read. I really have seen such a book, and I can tell you that such book, they really do exist. Okay, yeah. Okay, so right, so that's a quote about reading to really show us how important reading is, to really show us how important reading is. Reading is so much more important. Reading is it is one skill that which we all need at school. I mean, if you couldn't read, then you wouldn't be able to see what it is that which I am doing here. Okay, all right, I see there is a comment in the chat which is relevant to this, so I guess I can read it. So Carlton said the problem with digital reading is that you don't remember what you read. Carlton, I hear you. There was a time I really felt the same way, but one thing I can tell you is that, okay, although there is a difference between digital reading and reading a book, like a hardcover book, right? Yes. But then the other thing is that technology is also improving, Carlton, in a way that, right now there are some apps you can find in Play Store where you can be able to read a book, where you can be able to read a book on those apps. And good thing about it is that you also have an option to highlight. You also have an option to take notes like you would with a hardcover book, Carlton. So that is something that which you can really look into. And another thing is that, I mean, that book, you'll always have it forever. After you have that book on that app, and then maybe you change your tablet or you change your phone, you upgrade to a new phone, you can still read, because chances are that those apps, they store your information, they store all those books in your library that you should have, and then you can be able to read them. Okay, so yes guys, that is the thing about reading. And you realize that, you know, reading is a skill as much as writing and speaking. And you will see that in the next coming lessons we will be focusing on that. I will be giving you opportunities to speak. Yes, I'll be giving you opportunities to speak. I also would like to hear your voices, and also some opportunities for some writing activities. Okay, so yes, remember guys, there are like, so there are some books which are only available in hard copy, so unfortunately you would have to read as a hard copy. And then there are others which you can find in a soft copy, which is good, you know. I mean, I think it really has to do with what you prefer, but then what I'm trying to emphasize here is, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that we should be readers. Okay, we should be people who read, because the more you read, the more you become an excellent reader. And then you will get to a certain level where you are so proficient in reading, it seems like you really can't tell the difference whether you are reading or whether you are talking. All right. Yeah. So that is what it's all about. I see there are people here. They want the debate and stuff like that. Okay. You can join us on Friday. The lesson on Friday will be a group discussion, and I will give you a chance to really weigh in on what we will be talking about. Okay. So anyway, let us not go far. Let us continue, and let us continue with what the sorry what let us continue with that, with what the lesson of the day is all about. But I can promise you that in every lesson that which we are going to have, I have left so much room for all of us to interact. Remember guys, I'm not here because I want to speak the whole time for the lesson, but I'm here for you so that we can interact, so that we can learn. Because here is a tip for you guys, né? If you want to get the maximum out of these lessons, then you really need to participate. If you participate in the lessons, that is where you will get the maximum benefit out of them. Okay, so but if you do not participate, if you do not ask questions or weigh in with your comments, then the class will get boring to you, and you'll be surprised why other people are enjoying the class. You will be surprised why other people are enjoying the lesson and you are the only one who is really bored. Okay, so I'd like to encourage everybody, please participate in the lesson. You'll see that the more you participate, the more you learn. And I can tell you that there will be one time in your test, in your exams, you're going to remember all this I'm doing here. You're going to remember my voice when you forget something. Okay, I tell you. So participate. You know, this is your lesson. Make it your lesson. Okay, ask questions if you do not understand, which are relevant to the lesson. If there's something you're struggling with, write it also in the chat, so that we can we can really have lessons of such things a bit earlier than, you know. Yeah, so something like that guys. Okay, so yeah, you can really give me those ideas, right? Okay, so yes, I see there are people talking, want to do public speaking, debate, and prepare speech. Yes, guys, remember we can't do everything in one lesson. So there will be other lessons soon where we'll be doing that. And I hope you'll be joining us. Your phones will be charged. You'll be having enough data, and then we would participate. We would learn. We will improve our communication skills. Right? Yes. Anyway, let's continue. We are still on reading, guys. Okay, let us not get carried away with other things. Right. So reading for comprehension. So remember the overview of a newspaper article. Um, yeah. So this is something that which we're going to need to revise because of where we will be going in the next few lessons. Right. Okay. So remember, this lesson will be about the reading a newspaper article. Okay, I know there are some of you right now who are wondering, why am I specifically focusing on a newspaper article? The thing is that if you are that person who reads many things, you will realize that the way you read text is not the same, okay? The way you read a newspaper article is not the same as the way you read a poem. It's not the same as the way you read a diary entry. It is not the same as the way you read a map. It is not the same as the way you read a cartoon strip, etc., etc. You realize that every type of literature text has its own ways at which you should be reading it, or else it may not make sense to you, or you would misunderstand it. Okay, it is just like a person, guys. I mean, you know that if person one is shy and person two is loud, you know that even when you talk to them, you won't really approach them in the same way, right? To that shy person, you'll go there and you'll be trying to encourage them to speak, right? But then with the loud person, you don't have to encourage them to speak. You just say hi to them and then voila, they just keep on going and going and going. So that is how it is even with literature texts, that they are different, and even their formats are different. The way they are written is different, their layout are different, and even the way we read them is also different. Okay, so in today's lesson we'll only be focusing on how to read a newspaper article. All right, we really can't generalize reading. Okay, so we'll just be concentrating on a newspaper article, what it has, and stuff like that. All right, so in a newspaper article, the facts are stated briefly but accurately. You realize that a newspaper article, even if it could be a very long article, you realize that it could never be as long as your favorite novel. It will never be as long as the reader that which we use at school for short stories and folklore and drama, right? So yeah, you realize that everything which is stated there, every fact in the newspaper article, they have stated it briefly but accurately. Then you realize also that the essence of the article is communicated without losing the reader. Okay, so you as the reader, you'll be able to trace and you'll be able to see where the article is going to. You will be able to see where the article is going. So that really is how it works, right? Then the newspaper article is also about the accurate summary without slanting the truth. Whatever it is that which has been happening, whatever it is that which is being reported in the newspaper article, it is being summarized, okay? But they summarize it in a way that it doesn't compromise the truth or what actually happened. There's usually a succinct title with a clear subtitle, yes, and the most important facts, they come first, right? Such as the who, the what, the how, the when, where, why, and to what degree. So what this means is that the most important facts are first, right? You will realize that in a newspaper article, probably in the first paragraph, it will tell you something about the person, who. It will tell you something about what happened. It will also say something about how it happened, when the event happened, where or the place at which it happened, the reason why it happened, and to what degree the event happened. Okay, so you realize that those are the most important facts and they are put at the beginning because writers, they really do know that not all people can read this. Some people, they just read the first paragraph or two, and then when they think that they got what they wanted from the article, then they can just leave the article without reading the rest of it. Okay, let's see. I have a question in the chat from Onka. Onka's asking us, why when we write transactional passages, we always have to do the planning first, draft, and the final? Wow, Onka, that's a very good question. And that is something that which we are going to do in tomorrow's lesson, because in tomorrow's lesson, we'll be doing the process writing method of how and why we write transactional text that way. So I will not really dwell much on it today, Onkavits. Please join us for tomorrow's lesson so that you can find out the answer. But what I can answer you right now is that you realize that writing writing a passage is almost like planning to build a house, okay? So you need to know first what it is that which you want to do so that you can know how to do it, when to do it, what you are going to need, and things like that. Okay, Unka? So please join us in tomorrow's lesson. I'll be going into detail about that. We'll be doing the process writing method. I will show you all those steps we take when we write transactional text, and I will also tell you why. I'll also let you in why we have to do it that way, why we do it that way, and why that way is best. Okay. Yes, that is a good question, Onkabetsi. So we will answer it in depth tomorrow. But for now, it will be good to know that it is important to do those things. They really help you to really write to the best of your ability. Okay, another question from Tando. Tando saying, what is a succinct title? A succinct title, it is a title which is brief and clear. Okay, Tando, succinct, it means brief and clear. All right, yes. Okay, Unkabezi with another question. Unkabezi, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you tomorrow that the writing process method, the drafting, the planning, it is important with whatever transactional text you are writing, even with a diary entry. Okay, so please join us tomorrow, Unkabezi. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. It's just that we can't really go in depth into that because that is the lesson for tomorrow. But for today, I'm telling you, Ngabezi, this is very important. And tomorrow I will show you how important that is. Please make sure you join us for tomorrow's lesson. Right. So these are the key features of a newspaper article. We have the headline, the byline, the introduction, the body, the quotes, as well as the paragraph and the caption. All right, so you realize that every newspaper article that you've read, whether you're reading it from a newspaper or online, I assure you that it has these 6 things. All right, okay. So yeah, this is what it's all about. Okay, now that I've introduced the key features, let us look into each and every one of these features individually. The first feature is a headline. So the headline usually has only 4 or 5 words, right? Yes. So you realize that a headline has really few words. And why? Because the headline, remember, the headline aims to attract the interest of the reader by telling them what the story is about in a short and interesting way, right? So you realize that you can read 4 or 5 words in a second, okay? No matter your reading speed, no matter your whatever, it really is nothing which can really make you to take so much longer to read 4 or 5 words. Okay, remember guys, we are in grade 9, and I think in grade 9 we are, how old are we? In grade 9 is something like 14, 15, 16. Yeah, that is the age group of most people in grade 9. So that is the age group of most people in grade 9. So therefore, that is what we would be doing. Okay, so yes, so like that is what the headline is all about. It's just those few words that which are used to really grab our attention. Okay, I mean, you see it on the billboards as you drive, uh, as you drive, you can see billboards of newspapers, with the headline of the day, and you realize that most of those headlines, they really want you to want to go to buy the newspaper just to read that one story. And another thing which happens is that you will also realize that when you go to your grocery store, the newspapers, they are usually placed at the front next to the cashiers, and you realize that they are there where you queue. That when you queue there on your way to really paying for your groceries or for whatever that which you are buying, then you are bored, you don't know what to do. And then like when you look around, you'll see magazines there, you'll see newspapers there with very interesting headlines, and you realize that during that time that which you are there, you will be thinking about the headline, okay? You'll be thinking about the headline. Because I remember even myself, like a few months earlier, when the coronavirus was declared to be a national disaster, something like that, like you think, I mean, how can this be declared a national disaster? How, like when you think about it, the more you become interested, and then you will end up even buying that newspaper, although that wasn't your plan. So that is how headlines work, guys. Headlines are there to attract your interest as the reader so that you can read the story and out what the story really is about. Remember, if you have a question, the chat is still open. Please use it and we'll help you. The second feature is a byline. The byline informs about the person who wrote the article. Right, okay. Yes, Onkabezi, we have News 24 and other news websites, but the thing is, not everybody wants to read from a news website. The thing is, if it happens that perhaps maybe your grandfather or your parents, are the people who read newspapers, chances are that they will prefer to buy it, they prefer to buy a newspaper than to read online, I mean, some of the risks which come with using the screen, I mean, the glare of the screen can really hurt your eyes. It really requires data, and you realize that, your parents, our parents on Kabits, they are not really as tech savvy as you are, they are not really about to go to any news website to really check about the news of the day. It is either they're going to tune into a news channel on TV or they're going to buy a newspaper. And then you realize that there are also some who are even subscribed to newspapers, that, every morning, that every morning there is that, that every morning there is that delivery person who, delivers newspapers to houses, So yeah, so, we, we really are different people. All of us are different, and, we can really get the same story, but from different sources. You can want to go to the websites of the newspaper. Other people will want to buy the newspaper. Other people will want to buy the newspaper. After done reading the newspaper, they will want to use that newspaper for some other things, I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, like, go to town, go to a CBD of wherever where you are, you realize that the hawkers, the street vendors, they really have newspapers, and I think if they buy newspapers, it is not because they want to read, it is because of what they use them for magwenya, the fed cook and all the other things that which they are used for. So yes, that is how it works. Anyway, let's continue. Key feature number 2 is the byline. So the byline informs about the person who wrote the article, right? So the byline really, it tells us about the person who wrote the article, all right? So that is all there is to it. Okay, there's not much to really say about the byline, so let's continue. The third one is the introduction. So the introduction is sets the scene of the article, okay? You may really think of the introduction as when you meet a person for the first time, I mean, what do you want to know? You want to know their name, where they're from, probably their age as well, okay? So yeah, the introduction, it summarizes the main points of the article, right? So the introduction of the article, it also serves to answer the following questions. The questions of who, like, who did what, who said what. Again, what is if, like, what happened, where did it happen and when did it happen, right? So yes, that is what the introduction is really. Oh, sorry. That really is what the introduction is really all about. It really introduces us. It says the scene of the article. So by reading the introduction, you may really know what the article is all about, just by reading the introduction. You may not have the full story, but the main point, you will have it. Number 4, the body. So the body provides more about the event that is being reported. So in the body, that is when they expand on what they told us in the introduction. Remember, in the introduction, they told us about the person who's there, the event which happened, where the event happened, as well as when it happened, right? So in the body then will expand on those things. They will tell us more about that, because remember, the body serves to answer the questions such as how and why. So in the body, we will learn about how something happened. Maybe in the introduction, they say that the local grocery store was robbed. That is what they tell us in the introduction. But in the body, they will tell us how. That's when we will get to know who were the robbers, how many were they, what were they wearing, what did they actually do, are there any casualties, like all those details that which the introduction didn't tell us. That is the details we will get in the body. The body will also tell us about why it happened, okay? It will tell us the reason why the event happened. And that is something we didn't get from the introduction. Feature number 5 is the quotes. Sometimes articles will include a words that a person has said, okay? So when we think of quotes, we think of direct speech, right? I don't know if you have done it at school in term 1. But anyway, you let me know in the chat if you have done direct speech. Yes. So and yeah, you will let me know. Anyway, so codes, the codes. So the codes, they are there in the article, and they really tell us about what a person has said, and people such as eyewitnesses or an expert, right? So if there is an expert who said something, what that expert said will be put in quotation marks. And also what an eyewitness may have seen or said will also be put in quotation marks. Then you realize that all these words are written in quotation marks. Okay, that's what I just said. All right. So the last feature, which is not always in all newspaper articles, but most of them really do have it, is the photograph and the caption. So sometimes an article would have a photograph and a sentence which explains that photograph as well as the source of the photograph, okay? I think you've seen it before that maybe if you read an article, especially online, that maybe it is an article about your favorite celebrity, and then there is a picture of your celebrity. You'll see there, just under the picture, it will tell you who that celebrity is, and they'll also tell you where that picture comes from. Okay, so if it happens that maybe that picture they took it from your favorite Instagram, things like that. So yes, those are the 6 features of a newspaper article. Remember them. Remember them. Okay, let me just go through them quickly. So it's the headline, the byline, the introduction, the body, the quotes, the photograph, as well as the caption. Right now let us see if we understood. Let us test ourselves to see if we are able to identify all these features in an article, right? So okay, I know this article is a bit blurry, so we are not really going to read it. We are just going to scan it and to see if we are able to identify all those 6 features that which we went through in the lesson. All right. So activity number 1, use the following newspaper article to identify the key features. Right? Okay. So what is the first feature? The first feature to identify is the headline. So can somebody raise their hand, and I'll give you an opportunity to read the headline for us, because it seems like you guys really love reading. So I guess I can give you that opportunity. Okay, we have a hand. We have a hand from Nosipo. Yes,
Sir?
Nosipo. Yes. Can you read the
Good
headlines?
morning, sir.
Morning. Oh, afternoon.
Afternoon. Oh, sorry, sir. So the headline is teachers tricks make his memory fun. Is it that one?
Okay, yes. Yes, that is the headline. Thank you so much, Nosipo.
Sure.
Okay, so yes, teachers tricks make memory fun. That is the headline. Okay. So another question is, what does this make it like? Why is it a headline? Like, what makes it to be a headline? Why are you saying that teachers tricks make memory fun is the headline? Can I have a hand? Why is that a headline? What makes it to be a headline? Okay, Onkabetsi, hand is up. Yes, Onkabetsi.
So it's because it attracts people's attention and it's written in bold.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Onkabetsi. Yes, that's correct. So that is the headline because you will see that it is written in bold, and it is really it is really that thing in the article which really attracts our attention. Thank you so much. Then the second feature to identify is the byline. Which is the byline here? The byline, the byline. Okay, I see in the chat we have Kai. Kai says it is the headline because it is big and it is the first thing we see. Yes, Kai, that is true. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for your answer. So now we need to locate the byline. Where is the byline? Okay, we have Onkabetsi in the chat saying the byline is Lisa Dema. Kwezi also says by Lisa Dema. Okay, everybody is saying the same thing I see, but there's something you all should be saying, but nobody's saying it. Nosipo saying this up. Let's see if Nosipo can say it for us.
No, I also
Nosipo.
wanted to say Lisa Dema, sir.
Okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is correct, guys, but that is incomplete. And here is the byline. The byline is by Lisa Dema, Tribune staff writer. Remember what I said earlier? I said that the byline, it tells us about the person who wrote the article. So you realize that Lisa Dema is that person who wrote the article, right? And then Tribune staff writer, it tells us about her. So all this here by Lisa Dema, Tribune staff writer, is our byline. All of it, you see, all of it here is our byline. All right. Okay. Then our next feature is the introduction. So who has eyes really strong enough? Who really has that 2020 vision to read for us the introductory paragraph? Can I have a hand for someone who really trusts their vision so much that they can read the introductory paragraph for us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you read? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, please read it for us then.
San Antonio, can you name all of the U.S. presidents in order? How about reciting the 50 states alphabetically? Their capital and their capitals too. That one, sir, or should I continue
No,
with people's one? Or
okay, no, that
it's
one,
not.
that one. Okay. So yes, thank you for reading for us. So yes, that what Nosipo just read right now is our introduction, and you realize that in our introduction there we really have some idea, you know. we know about the place where all these things happen, which is San Antonio. We also see the way they're reciting, which tells us that this really has something to do with memorizing. Thank you so much. Okay, the fourth key feature for newspaper article is the body. Um, since we will not have enough time for that, so we can't read, we will not be reading the body, but then I can tell you that from this one, from pupils up until the end, that is the body. And you realize that if you read that body, and then you will read, and then you will realize that when you read that body, then you will come to understand more and more. You will really get more information, more details that which we really couldn't get in the introduction, right? Yes. And then the fifth feature is the codes, right? So is there any codes that which you can locate? If so, please raise your hand and read for us. Okay, Nkabet's hand is up. Nkabet's, can you read for us a code, any code you can see in the article?
I see she's dynamic.
Right. Thank you. Is there any other code anybody else sees?
That's very good.
All right. Okay. Good. Thank you, Nkabetse. Thank you. So those are some of the codes that which we have here in our article, right? And then, okay, and there's a question. Nosipo is asking. So don't you have any conclusion here? There is a conclusion, Nosipo, but you realize that this article is really not it is really not complete. Okay, it is really not complete. So I only took this part. Okay, but then you realize that the conclusion really, it is at the end. And well, if there is an introduction, then surely there is a conclusion. It's just that in this article, that which I'm using as an example, there is no conclusion because this article is incomplete. You know, I really had to cut it there, right? Because you see, it is not really that visible, and yeah, I didn't want to hurt anybody's eyes. Okay, yes. So the last feature will be the photograph and the caption. So when you look at the photograph and 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 the caption, what does it really tell you? What really comes to mind? You can raise your hand because you're only left with a few minutes before the lesson ends. Okay, seems like there is no hand this time around. Okay, there is the photograph there, and the caption, it reads as follows. Educator Margaret Gonick explains her memory concepts at a demonstration to parents at St. Leo College Tuesday night. Okay, so this caption here, it tells us something about the photograph. It tells us about the woman in the photograph. We learned that this woman is an educator and her name is Margaret Gonick, right? And she is the one who's been explaining memory concepts when she demonstrates them to parents. Where at St. Leo College, when, which was on Tuesday night, right? Yes, and then yeah, so that is really it. That is really all the things that which we can really. Those are all the features that are for me in the part of a newspaper article. And thank you so much, guys, that you were able to participate and you were able to identify them. I'm so glad that all of you really have understood the lesson. So here are they in summary. I said this: the headline, the byline, the introduction, the body, the quotes, and the photograph and the caption. Okay, right. So I'm only left with a few minutes. So this really is the end of the lesson. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for joining us. It's been a wonderful lesson. Thank you everybody for your comments, for your questions, for your concerns, for your ideas, for everything that which you have contributed in the lesson of the day. You really made it more enjoyable. I really can't wait for tomorrow's lesson. And yes, so yes, in tomorrow's lesson, we'll be doing the process writing method. I will be teaching you how and why we need to prepare when we write transactional text, whether it's a diary entry or an essay, a letter, whatever, So be sure to join us in tomorrow's lesson. It's going to be informative. We are going to learn, so it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. Let us meet again tomorrow. From all of us here at STEM Digital School, we are out. We love you. Goodbye. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.